Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Drishti IAS Editorial Analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have come in the editorial and are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Indian Express and it has come on 27th of July. The title of the editorial is House versus Court, and it says that the questions framed by the Rajasthan High Court could prize open spaces in a political party, but also at the same time can risk judicial overreach. So now let us look at its linkage with the syllabus. We find that it links directly with GS paper 2, where we have constitution and polity as two important areas of the syllabus. In this editorial, we will be discussing the role of the speaker, the role of the governor, and the role of the anti-defection law. So it links with the constitution, it links with the separation of powers, it links with the functioning of state legislature, and it also links with various constitutional positions, powers, functions and responsibilities. So after establishing the linkage with the syllabus, now let us look at its key points. Before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us understand what the issue is all about. So here in this map we can see Rajasthan, and we should know that it is the largest state of India, and for last few days it is also the center of political turbulence. The two main actors in the political turbulence happening in Rajasthan are the Chief Minister, Mr. Ashok Gehlot, and the former Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. Sachin Pilot. And now let us see the timeline of events. So on July 14th, the Speaker has issued notices to the rebel Congress MLAs, which are being led by Mr. Sachin Pilot. And the rebel MLAs moved the Rajasthan High Court, which on July 21st ordered the Speaker to defer proceedings on the disqualification notices issued to the rebel Congress MLAs. After this order of the Rajasthan High Court, on July 22nd, the Speaker of Rajasthan Assembly moved the Supreme Court, asking whether or not courts can interfere with disqualification proceedings initiated by Speaker even before a decision has been taken. And this is very important because in a famous Quixote Holohan case, it has been decided by a constitution bench of the Supreme Court that no judicial interference can be done in a case of disqualification before the Speaker decides on the case. So on this basis, the Speaker of Rajasthan High Court moved the Supreme Court. But on July 23rd, the three-judge Supreme Court bench said that the issue requires a prolonged hearing since the question involved is of the very democracy itself. And the Supreme Court did not yield to the Speaker's demand of staying the Rajasthan High Court order. And on July 24th, the Rajasthan High Court ordered a status quo on the matter of disqualification proceedings, which effectively means that the Speaker cannot decide on disqualifying the rebels. And on 27th of July, the Speaker of Rajasthan Assembly has withdrawn the plea in the Supreme Court against the High Court order. So this is the basic timeline of the events that have happened in Rajasthan and which is leading to more and more political uncertainty in the state. And now let us see something about the important Quixote Holohan versus Jakhelu and others case of 1992, where the Supreme Court Constitution Bench had said that judicial review cannot be available at a stage prior to the making of a decision by the Speaker or Chairman, and a quia timate action would not be permissible, nor would interference be permissible at an interlocutory stage of the proceedings. Now here we should know this term, which is quia timate. So this term quia timate basically means that the power of a court to grant injunctions before damage has taken place. And the literal meaning of quia timate is because he fears. So a court orders in favor of the petitioner because the petitioner is fearing some damage will be done to his case. So this we should be knowing. And another important thing to note here is that the Congress rebels have approached the Rajasthan High Court challenging the constitutionality of the paragraph 2, clause 1, subclause A of the 10th schedule, which makes voluntarily giving up membership of a political party liable for disqualification. So this is also important to note that what is under challenge. Paragraph 2, clause 1, subclause A of anti-defection law. And finally, here we should also know that two constitutional functionaries are at the center of this controversy. One is the Speaker. Obviously, he has to decide the anti-defection cases under the anti-defection law. He is the supreme authority. And the other is the role of the Governor in calling for the assembly session for a floor test to happen. Now, Supreme Court has repeatedly said that floor test is the right platform where the majority of a government needs to be tested. And here also the Governor doesn't have lot of discretion in calling for the session of the assembly, though the Rajasthan Governor has been accused of delaying it. And here the article to be noted is Article 174, as per which the Governor has to call the assembly session as per the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers led by the Chief Minister. So this is the basic background that we should be knowing, and now let us go to the editorial key points. So the editorial says that the political, legal and constitutional issues raised by the unfolding Rajasthan drama will require careful disentangling, because these have been totally mixed up. There are political issues, there are legal issues and constitutional issues raised by this political drama that has been going on in Rajasthan for quite some time now. But the editorial says that few things are already clear in this drama, and that is, there is evident bad faith on all sides and a shadow over the credibility of every player in the game. First of all, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has tried to stamp out the rebellion within the Congress legislature party by bizarre acts of heavy-handedness like the sedition notice which was served by his government to his own deputy chief minister, which became the trigger for this political crisis. Secondly, the Sachin Pilot camp has also taken recourse to an unedifying resort politics. They have been camping in a resort in BJP-ruled Haryana, though the state is suffering with COVID-19 pandemic and there is absence of governance, which is very much required at this time. Thirdly, Governor Kalraj Mishra, by sitting on the Chief Minister's demand for a floor test, is also inviting accusation of being partisan in his conduct. And here we should know that floor test has been repeatedly cited by the Supreme Court as the most transparent way of settling doubts about government's containing viability. The editorial then comes to the role of judiciary, and it says that the courts, both the High Court, which has stayed disqualification proceedings against the 19 MLAs by the Assembly Speaker, and has also framed 13 questions that recast the matter as one that involves larger questions of freedom of expression and basic structure of the Constitution, as well as the Supreme Court, which has played along with the High Court. So they have also come under some criticism for not dealing with the case as effectively as they should have. But the editorial does agree that the questions framed by the Rajasthan High Court do strike a chord with the general public. And this is so because a political culture defined by anti-defection law, which in its zeal to prevent horse trading has shrunk the open spaces within parties and have given excessive powers to the party high command at the cost of the freedom of legislators. Also, the editorial raises the point about the brute electoral majorities, which makes dissent within the political parties as important as the role played by the opposition. Because in case of a brute majority, the opposition is very weakened. And if there will be no inner party democracy, then it will not be a good sign for the democracy. And the editorial says that the High Court's raising of these questions could open up space for a wider deliberation on some vital issues like what does defection actually mean? Secondly, where the line is to be drawn between crossing over and intra-party dissent? And thirdly, can the expression of dissatisfaction or disillusionment and the strongly worded opinion against the party leadership be seen as a conduct falling under the ambit of para 2 clause 1 subclause A of the 10th schedule, which deals with an MP or MLA who has voluntarily given up his membership of such political party? So these are very important questions and they need to be decided by the higher courts. And the editorial says that the 19 rebel MLAs, though they have rebelled, but they are still claiming that they remain within the Congress despite their grievances with the leadership of Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. And the editorial says that the High Court's questions also raise concerns about the party whip and its applicability on such MLAs. Further, the editorial points out the 1992 judgment of the Supreme Court by a 5-judge constitution bench in the famous Kyoto-Holohan case, where it upheld the constitutional validity of the 10th schedule and casted a specific prohibition on courts intervening in disqualification matters ahead of the Speaker's ruling. And this has been the established law till the time Rajasthan High Court did not adhere to it. And that was why the Rajasthan Speaker approached the Supreme Court, which also gave no respite to the Rajasthan Speaker. And as the matter comes up again before the Supreme Court, there is existing jurisprudence and law as well as uncharted territory ahead. Finally, the editorial says that with the Rajasthan High Court's framing of these 13 questions, it may lead to less opacity and greater openness in the building blocks of parliamentary democracy. But there is also risk of judicial overreach, which may hinder the separation of powers doctrine enshrined in the Constitution under Article 50. Also, the editorial says that going into the inner lives of parties could also be full of risk, as it will be a slippery slope for the judiciary, and any reform may actually lead to impairing of the autonomy given to political parties. So this is a very delicate situation and the court would have to tread with caution. So this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now let us look at some key concepts. So first of all, let's look at the powers of the Speaker with regard to anti-defection law. So any question regarding disqualification arising out of defection is to be decided by the presiding officer of the House. And after the Kyoto-Holohan versus Jakelu case, the Supreme Court declared that the decision of the presiding officer is not final and can be questioned in any court. It is subject to judicial review on the grounds of mala fide, perversity, etc. But at the same time, it also held that the court will not intervene till the time the Speaker decides on the case of disqualification. So now judicial review is allowed of defection proceedings under anti-defection law, but they are allowed only after the Speaker has decided on the issue. Also in the Karnataka MLA's disqualification case, the court had held that a Speaker who cannot stay away from the pressures and wishes of his political party does not deserve to occupy his chair. So the role of Speaker is very important and the Speaker is supposed to act in a neutral manner. But this is not seen in practicality. Now let us look at the Kyoto-Holohan case. So in this case, the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court analyzed in detail the various provisions of the 52nd Amendment of the Constitution, which inserted the 10th schedule, and it was done in 1985, and this is important to note. Now the principal question before the Supreme Court in this case was whether the powerful role given to the Speaker violated the basic structure doctrine. And here we should know what is the basic structure doctrine. So it is the judicial principle that certain basic features of the Constitution cannot be altered by amendments of Parliament, and it was laid down in the Keswanand Bharti case of 1973. And in this case, the Supreme Court ruled that the speakers or chairmen hold a pivotal position in the scheme of parliamentary democracy and are guardians of the rights and privileges of the House. They are expected to and do take far-reaching decisions in parliamentary democracy, and their power to adjudicate questions under the 10th schedule should not be considered exceptional, but it derives from the position they hold. So this is a very important case and can be cited in your answer writing. Now let us look at the kind of questions that can be asked in prelims and mains. So in prelims, direct questions can be asked on anti-defection law, role of the speaker, the important articles we should be knowing, the role of the speaker. And here an important case is the Nabam Rebia case of 2016, in which the Supreme Court held that the governor has to go by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister in calling a session of the Assembly. So this is also an important case and you should be knowing about it. And also one should be knowing about the floor test, where the majority of the ruling party is tested. And this is the best way of finding whether the government is having majority or not. And questions can also be asked on the Quixote Holohan case of 1992 or the Nabam Rebia case of 2016. This deals with the power of speaker and this deals with the power of governor. In mains, the question can be on the role of speaker, whether the disqualification powers under anti-defection law given to the speaker should be taken away or not, and we should be ready with reasons on both sides. Also, an important question can be whether the disqualification proceedings under anti-defection law by the speaker should be made time-bound, and this suggestion has been given by the Honorable Vice President himself. So this is also important and a question can be asked on this. Finally, a question can be asked on the role of governor in calling a session of assembly for holding a floor test, which is also in controversy in the present Rajasthan case. So this was all in today's editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.